Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to burglary detail. For the past several weeks, a gang has been breaking into neighborhood stores. Routine investigation fails to turn up any kind of a lead. Your job? Find one.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, March 20th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 9:47 a.m. when we got to the third floor of the Verrill Arms Hotel, room 314.
Sure dark.
Want to try it again?
Yeah. Sounds like somebody's moving around.
Yeah.
Who is it?
You Jed Nagel?
Yeah, why?
Police officers would like to talk to you.
I ain't done nothing wrong. There's no reason to roust me.
You want to open the door?
All right. Come on in. I just got up.
Yeah. You alone?
Yeah, there's nobody else.
Frank?
Yeah.
That's the bathroom. I told you that there wasn't anybody else here.
Well, you don't mind if we look around, do you?
I do too, mind. I don't like you cops coming around. They're going to ruin my reputation. People in the building are going to think you're friends.
Well, now, I'll tell you, we won't tell them if you don't.
What do you want, anyway?
We got a report that you were down on East 5th last night. Is that right?
Well, I don't know. All last night's kind of foggy. I don't remember where I was exactly.
Do you remember being downtown?
I told you I didn't. Why? What are you trying to lay off on me now?
Place is clean, Joe.
Well, I told you it was. Now you want to fill me in on what this is all about?
All right, we'd like to know what you were doing downtown last
Well,
night.
how do I know? I had it rough last night.
Anybody else along with you?
No, not that I remember.
You remember being near the Palace Liquor Store?
No, not right off. I might have checked in, though. I threw a lot of business their way. Well, why all the questions? Is there something wrong?
We'd like to have you tell us.
Well, I'd like to help out, but there ain't nothing I can do.
We got a field interrogation report that you were in the area. Police car stopped and shook you down. Isn't that right?
Shit. Ain't nothing new. I'm always getting stopped.
You ever been arrested?
Couple of times.
What charge?
Drunk.
At all?
Yes. Never stood anything heavier than drunk.
Ever do any big time?
No. A couple of months at Castell. Went up to, take the cure.
Didn't hold on, did it?
Well, no.
Never mind.
You don't happen to have an aspirin, do you?
No, we don't.
How about your friend here?
He said we didn't.
Oh, that's too bad. Sure could use one. Mind if I take a look in the bathroom? There might be something in there to take care of my head.
Sure, go ahead.
We checked your record before we came up here.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Find out anything?
Enough to know there's a warrant on you.
For what?
Seems you got two wives back in Texas. They're both looking for you.
All right, now, come on. Get your clothes on.
Yeah. Do you want to tell me what this is really about?
What?
They didn't send two plainclothes cops down here to take me in on a bigamy charge. What's the real pitch?
There was a burglary last night. I wondered if you had anything to do with it.
Burglary?
That's right.
Not me. I haven't got the guts to get into something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what caused all the trouble with the women.
What's that?
Oh, them all the time tell me I should get off the dime and do something. Morning, noon, and night. All the time running off at the mouth about how I was lazy. You can't expect a man to take much of that.
Come on, get your clothes on.
You going to send me back to Texas?
We don't know what's going to happen. We just have to take you in.
Gee, I sure hope I don't go back. Woman's nothing but trouble, mister, nothing else. You remember it.
Must not bother you much.
Huh?
You're married, two of them. Jed Nagel was taken to the main jail and held for the Texas authorities. A check of his actions on the previous night showed that he couldn't have committed the burglaries. 11:30 a.m. Frank and I checked by the office, and then we went over to the crime lab. Ray Pinker was just finishing up his investigation.
Come on in, Joe.
Right.
How's it going, Ray?
Yeah, just wrapping it up.
You got anything for us?
Same as you had on the last 3 jobs. Here, pictures are there. Take a look.
Well,
Oh, they're still a little damp.
yeah. This is the entrance, huh?
Yeah. They went through the wall from the barber shop into the bar.
How'd they get in there?
Barber shop?
Yeah.
Used a jimmy on the back window. Climbed in, went to work on the wall.
Wonder why they didn't go right into the bar.
Place is covered by an alarm system, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Here. This is the box inside.
Yeah.
Guess they turned it off after they got into the place.
You get any prints?
No. Went over all the windows, safe, bar itself. Didn't turn up anything you can use.
What about the men themselves? Can you give us anything on them?
Must have been at least 2 of them. Might have been 3.
How'd you come up with that?
Footprints.
Oh.
They kicked up a lot of plaster when they went into the place. A lot of dust around. One of them wore a size 9 shoe, and the other one had a size 7.5 foot.
Where'd you get the third man?
A lot more of the smaller impressions. Either the little guy jumped around more, or else there was someone to help make the prints.
Mm-hmm. Anything else, Ray?
We got some good pictures of the Jimmy marks in the barber shop. If you come up with a tool, we'll be able to match it for you.
What about the safe, Ray?
Punch job. No class there.
Anything on it?
Mm-mm. How much they take this time?
Owner guesses at about 5,000, wasn't it, Frank?
Yeah.
Gives them a total of what?
Well, according to our figures, a little over 12 since they started working.
Scoring good.
Better than they think.
Huh?
We've just about run out of leads. Frank and I have been all over town trying to scratch something up. None of them work out.
Gotta be one someplace.
Yeah, Skipper keeps telling us that. Corner pockets on his back.
Bound to be.
Yeah, I guess so. Doesn't make it any easier on us, though.
You signed the application.
Yeah, well, thanks, Ray. Anything turns up, give us a call, will you?
Sure, Joe. Isn't likely, though. You've had it.
Mm.
You going back to the office?
Yeah, Stats office should have those cards for us by now.
Okay, hope they point somewhere.
Yeah, you better get in line, huh?
Take it easy, Ray.
Yeah. Drop around sometime. I'll pop for a lunch.
Well, we get this one cleaned up, we'll buy.
You got a deal. My wife will go for that.
What?
She's been after me to lose some weight.
Uh-huh.
Looks like it'll be a long diet.
Frank and I went back to City Hall and checked with the Stats office. In the runs they'd made, they came up with cards on 7 men who were known to have used the same method of operation in committing burglaries. We checked the list through R&I. 3 of the possibles were still serving sentences in San Quentin. 1 of them had died, and 2 were in eastern jails. The 7th, a Norris Pauly, had a record listing 4 arrests and 1 conviction. His address was given as 4622 50th Street. We left the office and went out to check on him. The register listed him as living in apartment 12. We walked upstairs.
Should be on the left, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, here it is.
Let me try it again.
Yeah.
Just a minute. Yeah,
Like to see Norris Pauly?
ain't here.
Where is he?
Don't see where that's any business of yours.
Police officers.
What do you want to see Norrie about?
Better if we talk to him about that.
Suit yourself. Don't make any difference to me.
You mind if we come in?
You can talk right out there in the hall.
All right, Miss Pauly, open that door.
Take a jump.
Sadie, what's all the noise?
Lady, either you open that door or we will.
Beat it,
All
Norrie.
right, get out of the way, lady.
Oh!
All right, Pauly, hold it right there.
You get out of here. You got no right to break in here like this.
Oh, will you shut up, Sadie?
I'm trying to do you a favor, and look what thanks I get.
Well, who asked you? Now, go on, get out of here.
Last time I tried to do anything for you. Last time!
Yeah, sure. Bye. Real harpy, always trying to take care of me. Real harpy.
All right.
You know, she means good, but she doesn't know how to carry it off. Always trying to protect me.
Yeah.
What do you want to see me about?
I want to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure, I'll go along with you. No reason for me not to. What do you want to know?
How come you're home?
Where'd you expect to find me?
You're on parole, aren't you?
Well, you knew that before you asked the question.
Supposed to have a job?
Yeah, I got one.
How come you're not working today?
Oh, I see what you're getting at. I got a cold kind of virus infection. Figured I'd take the day off, get it all cleared up. I was in bed when you got here. That's the reason I had all the trouble.
Your employer know where you are?
Well, sure. I called him and told him. I'm not trying to pull any deals. I've been punching the clock since I got out. I want to keep it that way.
Where do you work?
Parking lot downtown. Not killing the world, but I'm paying the rent. I got no beef.
How do you spend your off time?
What do you mean?
When you're not working, what do you do?
Mostly sit around the house, watch the TV.
You go out nights?
No, not much. Maybe every couple of weeks, Sadie and me go down to the Mexican place on the corner, have dinner, take in a show. That's about it.
You been out this week?
What night?
Tell us about all of them, will you?
No go. I've been home every night.
Can you prove that?
Well, do I have to?
It'll make you look better.
Well, ask Sadie. She'll tell you. We've been home together every night, just sitting here watching the TV.
What time do you go to work?
I check in about 7.
When you quit?
4:30. Once in a while, if it's crowded, I stay over.
You work late this week?
No, you can check that with the boss. He'll tell you.
All right, we will.
Well, what's this all about, huh? You guys are after something, aren't you?
That's right.
Well, why don't you tell me what it is? I hear stuff once in a while. Might be able to help you out.
You see the old crowd anymore, Norris?
Well, once in a while, they walk down the street. They nod, I nod. Nothing more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what are you after?
Tunnel jobs.
You figured I might have a piece of that action, huh?
Matches the way you work.
No, it doesn't fit. I told you I've been with the bucket since I got out. Even with taxes, I make more.
You heard anything about who's working?
Doesn't go out of this room?
We won't take it.
Okay. The boys found out I was giving you information. My insurance premiums sure go up real fast.
Well, don't you worry about it. Now, what do you know?
Word's around there's 2 guys.
We had that going in.
They pulled 3 jobs.
Well, they made it 4.
No, I don't know about the other one.
It'll be in the papers.
Uh-huh.
You got a name?
No, just heard that they were working.
Where'd you hear?
A fellow down on 7th, he sells papers down there. We have a cup of coffee once in a while, he told me.
You know where we can get in touch with him?
Yeah, but it'd be better if you didn't, though. Lead right back to me. Sadie? Hey, wait a minute. Where you going with the suitcase?
I'm leaving you.
Oh, come on. Isn't anything serious?
You don't ever talk to me. Try to do you a favor and you take their side. I've had it from you, bum.
Oh, come on, Sadie. Don't be sore.
Take your hand off of me.
Baby, please, don't be sore.
I'm going to tell you once more. Take your hand off of me.
Look, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, Sadie. What'd you go and hit me for?
Because you're a bum. Don't go trying to get me to come back to you. I'm through this time.
It's too bad, Paulie.
No, it isn't. I've been trying to figure some way to get her to walk out since I got out of jail. Never been able to do it. I sure ain't sorry. I ought to buy you guys a drink for taking care of it for me.
Yeah.
Only one thing that worries me is her big mouth. She's always talking.
Mm-hmm.
She might have heard me say I'd give you a hand. She blabs that around. I'm in real trouble.
You didn't give us any names.
That doesn't make any difference. She gets to talking. She'll have me telling you the name of every hoodlum in town. Whether that gets around, I'm a gone duck. I got to get after her. Yeah, Sadie and her big mouth. Sure going to get me in trouble.
Well, makes you even then, doesn't it?
Huh?
Yours kept you out of it. Before we left the apartment, we checked Paulie's story and verified the fact that he was not implicated in the burglaries. We drove down to the corner of 7th and Wild. We found the newsman Norris Paulie had told us about. We talked to him for about 15 minutes before we were able to convince him that he wouldn't get into trouble by giving us the information that he had. He told us what he knew about the tunnel burglaries. He was unable to give us a name of the suspect that he had in mind, but he did give us a description and the nickname Kiko. With this information, we returned to the city hall and checked the moniker file. There were several Kikos listed, but only 2 that matched the description. The first one checked out clean. The second, a Franklin James Wigg, WMA, 33 years old, had done time in the state penitentiary as a cat burglar. We contacted the state authority and found that Zwig was on active parole. From them, we got his address and we went out to see him. It was a small one-story modern house built in the early 30s. The chrome railing up the front stairs was rusty and the paint on the front of the building was peeling. We rang the bell and waited.
Yep. Your name's Wigg?
Yeah, that's right.
Police officers. This is Sergeant Joe Friday. My name's Smith.
What do you want me to do?
Why don't you ask us in?
It's all the same to you. I don't want to get the carpets dirty. Let's talk on it.
Come on, mister, get your coat.
What
I
for?
want to talk to you.
About what?
We'll tell you about it downtown.
You make a charge or I ain't leaving the house.
All right, suspicion of burglary.
You gotta drag that up again.
We don't make the rules.
Your time once in your life and the cops never get off your back.
You should have thought of that going in.
What good would it do? You cops never learn.
Well, you're not much of an example, are you?
What's that mean?
You're probably going back for another course. Before we took the suspect downtown, we made a thorough search of his home. We found nothing to tie him in with the burglaries. He was taken to the squad room and questioned for over an hour. During that time, he'd say nothing. He was booked in at the main jail, and Frank and I checked out of the office. The next day, Wednesday, March 21st, we had him brought from his cell. We talked to him in the interrogation room of the main jail.
How long you guys think you're going to be able to hold me?
Depends on when you decide to talk.
Tell you what, cop, I'll make a deal with you.
No deals.
What do you mean?
We don't want you. We want the guy who engineered the burglaries.
Well, then why don't you let me go now?
Want to make sure the story gets a play in the papers.
Well, what's that going to prove?
Your friend will get worried. He'll figure you're going to talk.
Look, if I was mixed up in anything, I'm not one way or the other, but if I was, why should he get worried?
Word's out that he's the brains.
Well, where's that from?
All over town.
It's not true.
The way we got it, stories around that you went along for the ride. Other fella did all the brain work.
Who said that?
Everybody we've talked to.
Well, then if everybody's talking about him, why ain't he here instead of me?
Because he's a smart one of the pair. Somebody's got to fall. Might as well be you. He can pick up another partner.
You telling me the real scam?
That's the way we get it.
Not true.
Oh, we only got your word for that. All I know is if I ever get in trouble, I'd want to make sure I had a pigeon waiting to take the beef. You're here, he's out. Now, you tell me who's smart.
How'd you get to me?
It was in the books.
Not like this. I fell for cat burglary. Nothing to do with tunnel job. Somebody had to blow the whistle.
That's so?
Sure. You had no call to pick me up. Just right out of left field, you walk in. Who did it? Who made the call? Somebody did, huh? Somebody pointed me out. Come on, I know who it was. You ain't going to get him in trouble telling me. Somebody told you, didn't they?
That's right.
It all fits real good. Well, I tell you this, cop, I ain't that dumb. A lot of things I've done that I don't want anybody to know about, but I never blew the whistle on a friend. That's one thing I didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff about him being the brains, that's a lot of coconuts. He can't get into a phone booth without help. I figured the whole deal. It was me who said we'd had it and ought to stop. He wanted to keep going. That's why I left.
When was this?
Night before last. After we got through, he was sore because there was only a little over $4,000 in the box. We heard there was around 10.
Yeah.
He said he wanted to make a big score before we quit. Said to go together on one more. Told me what he wanted to do. I wanted no part of it. The guy's off his rocker. I left.
What's he got in mind, you know?
Wants to tunnel into a bank.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
continued to talk to Franklin Zweig. From him, we got a complete description of the second suspect and the name Lester Kroll. We checked the name through R&I, and we came up with a record for him. Listed were several arrests for purse snatching and suspicion of assault. In spite of the arrests, Kroll hadn't served any time in jail. We showed the mug shot in the package to Zweig, and we got a positive identification. We asked the suspect in custody where Kroll lived. He gave us an address on South Figueroa, but when we checked there, we found that Kroll had left without giving a forwarding address. We talked to all of the people listed in this package as having known the suspect. None of them could or would tell us where the man was. We questioned Franklin Zweig further, but he was unable to tell us what bank Kroll had in mind. We contacted Vern Alm of the Bank of America, Frank Stump of the Security First National, and other special agents of Southern California banks. They, in turn, notified the branch managers to be on the lookout for evidence of Kroll working in their neighborhoods. Special M.O. bulletins were put out to all officers in the city, giving particulars on the methods the suspect was known to use. In addition to these, local broadcasts and APBs were gotten out on all suspects. For a week, the search dragged on. During that time, there were no further reports of attempted tunnelings and no sign of Lester Kroll. Friday, March 30th, 8:01 a.m. I checked into the office. Frank was waiting for me.
Morning, old buddy.
Hi, Frank.
Beautiful day, huh?
No, it's a little cold out.
Yeah, but it doesn't make any difference to you, huh, old buddy?
No, it doesn't.
You feel any different?
Hmm?
You feel any different today than you did yesterday?
Are you all right?
Never felt better. How about you, old buddy?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Hey, just a minute. I know what's wrong.
You do, huh?
Yeah, you didn't think I'd forget, did you?
Listen, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Ah, come on, old buddy. Just a minute. I'll get it. Got it right over here, right up on the top shelf. I brought it in myself. Here you are, Joe. Wrapped it myself, too. Looks pretty good, huh?
Yeah, I guess it does.
I didn't have nothing to put on the top, so I found a couple of Christmas tree ornaments. Put them on with a ribbon.
Yeah, it's nice.
Come on.
Huh?
Dig down in there.
Well, what is it?
Go ahead. Open it up. Got him yesterday after lunch. Thought I wasn't ever going to get you out of the way. Remember when I told you I was going out to buy a new hat? Remember?
You know, Frank, I think maybe you made a little mistake.
Oh, just take the top right off the box, Joe. Open it right up.
All right. There.
What do you think?
Well, they're very nice, Frank.
Hey, you bet. Fleece line slippers. Got a pair myself. Greatest thing in the world, a cold morning. Keep your feet warm, Joe. Fleece is warm, you know.
Yeah.
I got a pair myself.
Mm-hmm.
See the card? There's a card there. Open it up. Go on, read it. Go ahead.
Out loud?
Sure.
This is the day that comes once a year, the day your face does shine. A happy day for one and all, because today you're 9.
Doesn't match too good, I guess. It's all I had at the shoe store. Happy birthday, Joe.
You know, I just don't know what to say, Frank.
Well, I know how you feel, old buddy. I understand you're all kind of choked up, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I am. This isn't my birthday, you know.
How you choked up? Huh?
This is not my birthday, Frank.
Well, that's the 30th, isn't it? March 30th?
Yeah. My birthday's August 30th.
No, wait a minute, buddy. It can't be. I got it right here in my little book. Wait a minute. See? See right here? Wait a minute. March 30th, Joe's birthday. I wrote that myself. You know my handwriting. March 30th.
Yeah, you got the date right, but it's not mine.
You kidding me?
Frank, I know my own birthday.
Huh. It's funny. Must be somebody. Who do I know named Joe?
I get it.
Joe.
Burglary Friday. Yes, sir?
March 30th.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
March 30th?
Where is that? I see. All right, sir. We'll be right out. Yes, sir, right away. Come on, old buddy. We got one to roll on. Huh?
August 30th. Huh?
I say we got to roll. Let's go. Barry over at the street department. They got a call this morning.
Yeah?
Looks like somebody's trying to dig a tunnel in the storm drain. Frank and I left the office and we drove over to the corner of Silver Lake Boulevard and McCollum Street. We met with Barry Falcon of the street department. He led us to a manhole in the middle of the intersection. He told us that there had been numerous complaints from citizens in the area that the cover on the outlet kept rattling. When the street department checked it, they found that the cushioning material around the metal plate had been removed. It was replaced, but the next day there were several more calls. When the neighbors were questioned, they told of a man who arrived in a pickup truck about 2:30 in the morning. He'd lift the cover and enter the storm drain. Before the daylight hours, he'd leave and he'd drive away. From the description they gave, it was possible that the repairman was from the street maintenance department, but a check of their records showed that no crews were working in that area. After talking with Falcon, Frank and I climbed down the ladder into the drain. We walked about 20 feet up the tunnel, and we found the reason that we'd been called.
Barry tell you what's over us?
Well, near as we can figure, it's the vault in the bank, isn't it?
Sure isn't kidding.
Take a look over here. Got all the equipment, lamps, a couple of drills.
Yeah, but he's not going to be able to use them unless he ties into an electric line someplace.
I probably figured he'd run into one.
Mm-hmm. And what's that over there in the corner?
We'll take a look.
Can you see it?
Yeah, better leave it alone.
What do you got?
He's got it all figured.
What do you mean?
That bottle over there?
Yeah.
Looks like nitroglycerin. The people in the immediate vicinity were shown the mugshots of Lester Kroll. He was positively identified as the man who had worked in the storm drain. We asked about the truck, but none of the people could give us a good description of it. The employees in the bank were cautioned, and Frank and I arranged for a 24-hour surveillance to be set up on the storm drain outlet. 2 days passed without activity, and then on Monday, April 3rd, we waited in our car down the street from the intersection. 2:20 a.m.
Another cup of coffee, Joe?
Yeah, wouldn't be bad.
Boy, it sure gets cold this time of the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Say, I finally figured it out.
What do you mean?
Who Joe was.
What's that?
Here. Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah, thank you.
Joe. You know the name of my book, The Birthday?
Oh, yeah.
It's our mailman.
Hmm?
It's our mailman. It was his birthday.
Oh.
I got him one of those cards that says, "We're sorry we forgot." You know the kind.
Mm-hmm.
We gave him the card and a carton of cigarettes. Old Joe sure got a kick out of it.
Yep.
Sure gets cold this time of the morning.
Take a look.
Yeah, I see it.
Parking there. You see his face?
Not from here. Till he gets out.
Look at that. Even got a hook for the manhole cover.
How do you like that?
Watch it now. He's going under the light.
It's him.
Well, all right, let's let him get down in the storm drain. That way we'll be able to get him while he's working.
Right.
Let him get in there.
Okay.
Okay, let's go. You want to give me a hand with the cover?
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right. Okay.
Hold it up a minute. Give him a chance to get to work.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's go. Come on.
Right. You sure not wasting any time?
Probably figures on making the break this morning.
Uh-huh.
Take it easy now.
Right. You can see him good now.
He's sure going after it. All right, come on, let's take him.
Right.
Come on. How about it?
He's dead.
Look at that. See up there? He ran into one of the power lines into the bank.
Yeah, he almost made it, Joe. A couple of more inches, he'd have gotten in.
Yeah?
He must have figured wrong someplace. Made a mistake somewhere.
Yeah, when he bought that drill.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On August 16th, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Franklin James Weig was tried and convicted of burglary in the second degree, 3 counts, and received sentence as prescribed by law. Burglary in the second degree is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not less than 1, nor more than 15 years in the state penitentiary. At a coroner's inquest, the death of Lester Bruce Kroll was found to be accidental, occurring while in the commission of a felony. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to the business office. Past records show that you can expect 170 crimes to occur in the city during the next 24 hours. You don't know where. You don't know when. Your job, handle them.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Saturday, July 10th. It was hot in Los Angeles. We'd been assigned to the business office, morning watch. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Gilbert. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from the coffee room, and it was 12:10 a.m. when I got back to room 21, the business office.
Well, file what? Hey.
Who you talking to, buddy?
Oh, hi, Joe.
Hi.
Hey, try to stay around, will you?
Huh?
I've been here 20 minutes. I've had 29 phone calls and written 3 reports.
Okay, I brought you some coffee back.
Oh, thanks. Hey, how you feel? Any better?
Oh, a little bit. I don't know what it is. I ache all over. I think I'm coming down with a cold.
That's too bad. A lot of that going around.
Yeah. Where's Skipper?
They ran over to the crime lab. Want to talk to Pinker?
Mm-hmm. How about the pool cards? You check them?
Yeah, the book's here someplace.
There it is, right on that paper there. No, over there. There.
Oh. Yeah, 5 of them out. Checks in the book.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Something we can do for you?
You a detective?
Yes, ma'am. That's right.
All right, young man, my car's been stolen.
All right.
I told one of the officers on the corner about it, but he said it might work faster if I came up here.
Yes, ma'am. That's right.
The car's stolen. All you've got to do is go out and find it. Just find my car.
What kind of a car is it?
Well, it was a brand new Chevrolet.
That's 1954?
That's right. Bel Air with the windows that fold down.
All right. Now, we'll need to know some more things here before we can start looking for it.
Yes, what's that?
Your name?
Avis Bowen.
Mm-hmm. That's A-V-I-S.
Well, that's right. There's no other way to spell it. Avis Bowen.
Yes, ma'am. Do you have a middle initial?
R. Hope you're not going to ask me what it stands for.
No, that won't be necessary.
There isn't anybody that knows what my middle name is.
Yes, ma'am. All we want is the initial.
Well, that's all you're going to get.
All right, Mrs. Bowen.
It's Miss.
All right. Well, what's the license number?
Oh, now, I think it's 1U44441.
All right. Wait just a moment, please.
Who are you calling now?
DMV.
Well, who's that?
Department of Motor Vehicles.
Oh, my, all this going on. It's a wonder you ever catch anybody.
Hi, Harry. Miss Friday over at the business office. California license 1 Union 44441. That's right.
Now, tell him it's a Bel Air with the windows that fold down by themselves.
Yes, ma'am, I'll do. Doesn't it? Well, hold on here. You sure about that license number?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, it kind of looks like you made a little mistake, Miss Bowen.
I did not. The car's stolen.
Yes, we understand that, but you gave us the wrong license number.
1U44441. I remember it because of all the fours.
Harry, I'll call you back. Miss Bowen, that number's registered to a 1940 Studebaker.
My license number?
Well, I don't know, but the one you gave me, yes, ma'am.
1954 Chevrolet Bel Air. Windows that fold down by themselves.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
There must be several hundred cars that look like that. You've seen them before. Well, you act like you've never seen a car like that. There are lots of them around. Mine's light blue with a gold on top.
Uh-huh. We still need the license number. Do you think you have it at home?
Yes, I guess so.
All right, fine. If you'll phone it in to us, we can start looking for it.
Well, how do you expect me to get there?
Ma'am?
Home. How do you expect me to get there?
We'll have a car drop you off.
Well, it's about time I was getting some kind of service around here.
Yes, ma'am.
I think I'll write a letter to the papers about this.
All right, ma'am.
The whole thing, right down to that TMV or whatever it is. Expose the whole mess. Oh, you're going to be mighty sorry you ever opened this can of beans.
We're doing the best we can, ma'am.
Well, that's not very much. Standing around here making phone calls isn't finding my car.
Well, you said it yourself, didn't you?
What's that?
There must be several hundred cars like yours here in the city.
Yes?
Well, without the right license number, how are we going to find it?
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Ma'am?
You're nothing but a fake.
I beg your pardon?
You ain't no detective.
The business office, room 21. It's open 24 hours a day, but it's after the detective division closes that it begins to work. While patrol units in the city function normally, the men in the business office give advice on booking procedure, policy matters, and other police business. They issue pool cars and riot guns, and in the event of an emergency, they act as advisors in an overall plan for the dispersal of policemen. The captain on duty is, in effect, the acting chief of police. On the average weeknight, the activities are slow and routine. But over the weekend, the men involved can expect to handle several hundred phone calls from the thousands put through the complaint board. These calls deal with every crime in the municipal and penal code. In addition to this, they handle the citizen traffic through the city hall. Next door is a report room where statements are taken and forwarded to the captains of the detective divisions for appropriate action. Frank and I had checked in at 12 midnight, and for the following half hour, we did business as usual. At 12:41 a.m., we got a hotshot call reporting the sound of shots in the 4200 block on Albany Street. At 12:43, the call was changed to a shooting and ambulance follow-up. At 12:45, the hotshot phone rang again.
That's the shooting?
Yeah, it's a homicide now.
You gonna call a unit?
Better have them check it, yeah.
Same address as the shots?
A couple of houses down. This is Friday, business office. Will you put out a call to 1K5? Have them cover the shooting and ambulance follow-up at 4289. That's 4289 Albany. You got it. Right, thank you.
Looks like a good one, huh?
Yeah. Turns out we'll get Geezy out of bed.
Well, that'll make him happy. He'll end up in their laps.
Hi, Joe.
Bob, what do you got?
You want to sit down there, Pop?
Who's he?
I don't know. We found in front of one of the burlesque houses on Main.
Mm-hmm.
The place was closed. He was just standing out there looking at the pictures.
You got a name on him?
Mm-mm. Haven't been able to get him to say anything. You want to give it a try?
All right. You want to tell us who you are, old fella? Come on, we want to help you, but there's not much we can do if you won't tell us your name.
Doing about as good as we did. Okay, I looked pretty wobbly when we stopped.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Well, we'll have to take him over to Georgia Street. Wait a minute. You got a wallet? All right, let me look at it, will you? Maybe there's something in here that'll help us.
Yeah. And the money?
No. A few cards here. Nothing with a name on it.
What's that one there? Something written on the back. Looks like a phone number.
Yeah, that's what it is. You want to call, see if they know who he is?
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
Yeah, you just sit still right there.
Hello, this is Officer Frank Smith, Los Angeles Police Department. No, there's nothing wrong. Well, we have a man here in the office. He's carrying a card with his phone on it. I wonder if you can tell us who he is. Oh. Yes, ma'am. Well, he looks to be in his late 70s. We've got white hair. That's right. Well, he's wearing a brown wool sweater, black pants, and a black felt hat. That's right. You want to give me that again? Mm-hmm. No, he's all right. Yeah. That's right. We'll have him brought home. Right away. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Well, we got it. His name's McKinley Dunn. He lives out on Vincent Avenue in Highland Park. Talked to his daughter.
Yeah.
She says they got into an argument after breakfast. McKinley here just got up and walked out of the house. She hasn't seen him since. Pretty worried about him.
It figures.
Says he's always kind of independent.
Well, I better run him home. Huh?
Hey, you want us to take care of it?
No, we can't have you out of service that long. I'll call Highland Park, have them pick him up. You want to take him over to York Boulevard and make the transfer there, Bob?
Sure thing.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Dunn. Here you are. Let's put this back in your pocket.
Come on, sir. We'll take you home. Thanks, Joe.
It's no trouble, Bob. Tell the boys from Highland Park to have his daughter put a card in the wallet with all the information on it. Will you make it easier next time?
Sure.
The card's not going to do any good, Joe.
Hmm?
Card's not going to help. Daughter says she always puts one in. As soon as the old man gets out of the house, he tears it up.
I got it. Business office, Friday. Uh-huh. Photographer get there? How many? You get the story? Yeah, we'll bring him in. Do what you can. Right, we'll see you then. That's Sam and 1K5 on the shooting.
Yeah.
They got 2 suspects in custody. They're bringing them both in.
Uh-huh.
Third man left the scene. Sam says the accidental death possibility is out now.
Yeah.
It's a clean case of murder. 10 minutes later, the officers in Unit 1K5 arrived with the two suspects. They were identified as Fred and Harriet Purcell. The names were run through R&I, but no record was found on either one of them. It was obvious that the two people had been drinking heavily. The husband was taken to the report room while Frank and I questioned the woman.
I don't remember too good. Everything seemed to happen so fast. Just all of a sudden there was this kind of noise and Norman was dead.
Norman, is that the victim?
Yeah. Norman Moncrief.
You must know who had the gun.
I've been saying that to myself, but it doesn't do anything. I guess I had too much to drink.
Who else was in the apartment with you?
Now, you mean besides Fred and me?
That's right.
It's just the three of us, that's all.
We got a report there was another man present.
Well, then you know more than me.
All right. You want to give us the whole story?
The beginning when?
From the start.
Okay. I had a tooth pull this morning. I guess that's what caused all the trouble.
How's that?
My tooth was impacted and I had it pulled, and the dentist gave me a shot of Novocaine and you pull a tooth, can't you see it?
Mm-hmm.
I care. Well, I got home and the Novocaine started to wear off. The whole side of my face started to hurt terrible.
Yeah.
Well, I told Fred about it. How it was a terrible pain. I tried to tell him how much it hurt.
Mm-hmm.
He's a clod. Told me to have a drink and forget it. And it wasn't long before we were having a beef. Old Fred, he isn't very bright at times, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think a fella'd have a little sympathy for his wife at a time like that.
Yes, ma'am.
Not old Fred. He's a clod. Told me to pour myself a little drinky and shut up.
Was Moncrief there at the time?
Yeah. Him and Fred had been playing pinochle when I came home. I guess they'd been at it all afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Norman was on my side. He made Fred mad. Time we got to fighting pretty good, Norman was right with me.
Yeah.
Told him Fred he ought to be quiet. I think Fred was sore about being beat at pinochle. He thinks he's a pretty good player. Wasn't long after that, there was this shot, and Norman was dead.
Were you in the room at the time?
No.
Where were you?
Out in the kitchen. I went out to get some more ice.
Who was in the room when you left?
Just Fred and Norman.
No one else.
If there was, I'd have told you.
Just a minute. I'll get him. Here's Office Friday. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You'll have to call in tomorrow. Yes, ma'am. That's right.
Let's go on here. You know Mrs. Regman?
No?
Mrs. Leo Regman?
Yeah, what about her?
She told the investigating officers there was another man in the apartment. Said that he left right after she heard the shots.
She would. She always got her nose where it doesn't belong.
Well, she was pretty certain about what she saw.
Then ask her. She saw the man. Let her tell you who he was.
You don't think it'd be better if you did?
Then it ain't going to be good, because I don't know.
Did you hear anybody come into the place when you were in the kitchen?
Nope.
You're pretty sure of that, huh?
Now, look. I got enough troubles. Me and my old man's in jail. My face feels like it's coming off. I want to get home and get some sleep. If I knew anything, I'd have told you a long time ago. Now, leave me alone.
What did you do after you heard the shot?
Went in to see what it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Just opened the door and looked. Norman was lying there on the floor.
Where's your husband?
Just standing there looking at Norman.
Where was the gun?
Fred had it.
Whose gun is it?
I don't know.
You never saw it before?
I don't like guns. I don't like to have them around. I don't look at them when they are. I never saw it before. You talked to Fred yet?
No, not yet.
No. Well, he'll tell you the same story, same way I told it. You'll see. There's no need to even talk to him.
Is that right?
Sure. You already got it the way I told you. What more you want?
Just one thing I can think of.
Yeah?
The truth.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Frank and I attempted to talk to the husband, Fred Purcell. He was too drunk to be coherent. We made arrangements for some hot coffee to be brought in. His wife was taken to the interrogation room to wait until we could fill out the reports. At 4:20 a.m., we got another hotshot call regarding a cutting on South 5th Street. The investigating officers found the knifing had resulted from a quarrel between a man and his common-law wife. The woman was in critical condition. She was removed to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital, and the husband was booked in at the main jail on charges of assault with a deadly weapon. We notified Chief of Detectives Thad Brown and Captain Lorman of the shooting and the cutting. During the next hour, there were 2 armed robbery reports, several burglaries, and numerous fights. 5:31 a.m., Frank went down the hall and brought back 2 beef and cheese sandwiches and some coffee. At 5:46, we got a call from the men in Unit 1K5 telling us that they were on the way into the office with a gun that had been used in the killing of Norman Moncrief. 10 minutes later, 2 uniformed officers brought in a pair of possible car thieves. One of them was held in the hall while Frank and I talked to the driver of the car, a Melville Hulbert, age 19.
Where'd you get the car?
I bought it.
Where?
Well, from a lady. She put an ad in the paper, said she had this year Sharp 52 Ford for sale.
You remember what paper?
Well, no, sir. Yeah, I think it was one of them morning ones.
When'd you buy the car?
I don't know.
Well, you must have some idea.
I reckon maybe it was in January. Yeah, around there in January.
Let me take a look at your driver's license, will you?
Yes, sir. Here you are.
Take it out of the wallet, will you?
Oh, yes, sir. Here it is.
This your present address?
Sir?
You still live here on Echo Park Boulevard?
Oh, no, sir, I moved. I got me place over on Olympic.
How long you lived there?
You mean on Olympic, sir?
That's right.
I don't know. Reckon maybe a couple months.
Don't you know for sure?
Well, see, I got this here bad memory. I think it's been a couple months.
You live with your family?
No, sir. They down south.
Where's that?
New Orleans?
Do they know you're out here?
Yes, sir.
When'd you come to California?
August.
Last year?
Yeah, last year.
You got a job?
Aircraft factory out in the valley.
It's kind of a long drive to work for you, isn't it?
Yes, sir. But I got a good deal on the place I live at, see?
How come you haven't reported the change of address to the Department of Motor Vehicles?
Reckon I just forgot. I got this here bad memory, you know.
When you bought the car, did you finance it?
Sir?
You buy it on time, you pay cash for it.
Cash.
You got the pink slip then, haven't you?
Lady sold it to me, signed it.
Where is it?
I don't know, sir.
Didn't she give it to you?
No, sir. She just told me she was going to send it to Sacramento someplace.
Did you get any kind of a receipt for your money?
Yes, sir.
Well, where's it?
In my wallet?
Let's see it.
Yes, sir. I got it right here someplace. Pretty funny about this.
What's that?
Well, I wouldn't steal no car. It's pretty funny to think I did.
Mm-hmm. All right, now how about that receipt? Have you found it yet?
Yes, sir. Now, here it is.
Who wrote this?
The lady sold me the car.
Is her name here?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. She wrote it.
When'd you say you bought the car?
Around January, I guess.
This year, huh?
Yes, sir.
You sure you couldn't be wrong about the date?
Well, now I don't know. Maybe.
Where'd you meet the woman who wrote this receipt?
At her place?
Where's that?
Out in Westwood. I think that's what you call it. Apartment out there.
You remember the address?
No, sir.
Haven't got any idea at all where it is, huh?
Well, it was up on Wilshire. I know that. Apartment on the second floor.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was number B or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I'll check.
Now, what'd you make all that big deal about when I bought the car?
Date on the bill of sale is a year ago.
Well, somebody must have made a mistake.
Now, we knew that when you walked in. We're trying to find out who. What do you got, anything?
Yeah, it checks out. Names in the book. Less Department D.
Yeah, now that could be it. I know it was on the second floor. Looks right out on Wilshire Boulevard.
All right, Mel. You go over there and sit down. We'll be right with you.
It's going to be okay?
We'll see.
Now, look, I didn't steal that car, mister. I should have told him about how I moved. But I did not steal the car.
All right. You go over there and sit down, will you?
Yes, sir.
What do you think?
Well, it seems to check out. Date on the bill of sale could be a mistake. Woman might have just written the wrong year.
Yeah, it's pretty close to first. Could happen.
Like to give the kid his first felony booking, don't you?
Yeah. What do you want to do?
Well, let's hold him over till we can check with the woman.
Yeah.
Officers?
Hmm?
Gonna be all right?
We'll see.
You ain't going to send me to jail.
No, not yet. You can wait down the hall, will you?
Now, as long as you know I did not steal the car.
We'll check with the woman first thing in the morning. I want to tell you one thing, though.
Yes, sir?
We're going to give you a break by not booking you right now. Don't make us sorry about it.
Oh, no, sir. Thank you.
All right, go on. Get out of here.
Where's Jimmy?
He's down the hall. The officer there will take you.
Yes, sir. Officers?
Yeah.
Thank you again. You hear?
Yeah, you take care of that bad memory, will you?
I got it. Headquarters Smith. Oh, yeah. Yeah? What's the address? No, he's not here. Just a second, I'll check. Policeman out in Hollywood wants permission to kill a skunk.
What?
Wants to kill a skunk caught in a trap.
I guess it's all right if it's the only way they can get rid of it.
Well, the way he puts it, it is.
All right.
Go ahead. Yeah. What's that? I don't know. You better check with the watch commander. Yeah. Okay, good night. I got an injured animal report. Turns out the people out there had trouble with skunks, got a permit for the traps, and caught one tonight. Once they had it, they didn't know how to get rid of it.
I better make a report on it.
Must have been pretty funny.
Huh?
Officer said we could use the skunk in the department.
What was that?
Officer said we could use the skunk in the department. Says he'd qualify on the target range any day.
I get it. Headquarters Friday. No, we got the word. Where you been? Check out with the lab? No, we'll wait. 1K5.
Yeah.
They just picked up the third person in the shooting. 3 minutes later, the officers in Unit 1K5 brought in a tired-looking man in his late 20s. His name was Harry Carnell. He'd been drinking, but he seemed to be in complete control of his faculties. We ran his name through R&I, but we found no record on him. The officers also brought in the murder weapon, a .32 caliber automatic. A check of gun records gave us the name of the store where it had been bought and the name of the owner. According to the registration, it belonged to Fred Purcell. The crime lab reported there were no fingerprints on the weapon. We tried once more to talk to Purcell, but again we were unable to. We asked Harry Carnell, the latest suspect, to tell us the story of the shooting.
I went up to the place to collect some money Mancreef owed me.
What happened when you got to the apartment?
Knocked on the door and Purcell let me in.
Who was in the room?
Just him and Mancreef.
That's all, huh?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Well, I came in and said I had to have the loot, and Mancreef told me he was stony.
Yeah.
He said to check him tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Purcell got on his back, said he was always welching, and the beef started.
You mean between them, huh?
Yeah, they were both pretty gassed when I got there.
You have anything to drink with them?
No, I had a date, sir. That's what I needed the money for. I got a girl with a pretty big appetite. I was broke, and I figured I'd tap Mancreef for what he owed me.
All right.
Anyway, these two got in a big beef. Purcell told Mancreef to get out. He wouldn't go, so Purcell ran over to a desk there in the room and hauled out this big gun, started to blaze away.
How many shots did he fire?
Well, one's all I remember. Might have been more, but I didn't spend a lot of time counting.
Just one, huh?
Yeah. No, a guy sets a clay pigeon on your head. You ain't going to stand there.
What happened then?
Well, Purcell pointed the gun at me. He said I should get out, too. I didn't feel like telling him he was wrong.
During the time you were there, did you see anybody else at all?
No. Fred's wife was around someplace, I guess.
Why do you say that?
Well, they started yelling at each other. I heard Mancreef say they'd bother Harriet. That's Fred's wife, Harriet.
Uh-huh.
I took off like a big bird.
Where'd you go?
My place. Had a couple of belts and then walked by the apartment to see what was going on. An old broad there started yelling about how I was the guy who ran out of the place after the shooting. Next thing I know, I got the collar on, and here I am.
Uh-huh. What was Purcell doing when you last saw him?
I was standing over Mancreef, holding the gun, looking like a cover on a pulp magazine.
You willing to sign a statement on what you just told us?
Well, sure. I got no part in this action. Just went to collect a bet at the wrong time, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty lousy night. Missed my date, didn't collect the money, end up in the can. It's pretty lousy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not the only one, though. Old Purcell always thought he was such a great card player. He's a real fish. He lost $6 tonight.
Well, your part right.
Huh?
He lost more than that, didn't he? Harry Carnell was taken to the report room where he made a full statement. At 7:03 a.m., Lieutenant Ray Giese from Homicide Division came in and took over the investigation. Fred Purcell was questioned, and he made a voluntary statement that he'd shot and killed Norman Mancreef. He couldn't remember why he'd done it. He was removed to the main jail and booked in on a charge of violation of Section 192 PC, manslaughter. His wife and Carnell were released from custody. We made out reports to all divisions for the follow-ups on crimes committed during the night. At 8:02 a.m., the men on the day watch came in and relieved us.
It's going to be a nice day.
Yeah.
A few clouds up there. Might keep the heat down.
Yeah, let's go.
You want to stop for breakfast?
Well, I guess we might as well, yeah.
What do you think, Joe?
Hmm?
You like to draw the business office for permanent duty?
No, sir, not me. I guess okay once in a while. I don't think I'd like it steady, though.
Huh?
Not busy enough.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On November 18th, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Further investigation proved that the purchase of the automobile by Melville Hulbert was legal, and no further charges were made. Frederick Neal Purcell was tried and found guilty of manslaughter and received punishment as prescribed by law. Manslaughter is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period not to exceed 10 years. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a homicide detail. An attractive divorcee disappears from her home. There's no lead to her whereabouts. There's evidence of foul play. Your job? Find her.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, June 10th. It was mild in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Friday. We're on our way out from the office, and it was 11:15 a.m. when we got to 2962 Reservoir Street. Front door.
You the policeman?
Yes, ma'am. Miss Harrison?
That's right. Come on in.
Thank you. My partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Oh, how do you
How are
do?
you, ma'am?
I was expecting you.
Yes, ma'am.
Other officers said there'd be somebody here from the detectives to see me. You men from the detectives?
That's right, Miss Harrison.
I got some coffee on if you'd like a cup while we talk.
No, thank you.
No, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. You want to sit down there? We can get started on this.
All right.
I made some little notes this morning after the other policeman left. I thought it might help me to remember.
Uh-huh.
They didn't find anything when they went to Josephine's house, did they?
No, they haven't. I wonder if you'd tell us what you know about her disappearance.
I'd be glad to. Last time I saw her was Friday. The 6th, last Friday.
Mm-hmm. Where was that?
Out in her yard. She was hanging up clothes, and we got to talking, about neighborhood stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
We talked for a little while, her hanging up clothes, and I was working around the yard.
Did there seem to be anything wrong then?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, did she seem upset about anything?
Well, not that she told me about. We were pretty close. She told me just about everything happened to her.
Mm-hmm.
When her and Jordan were still married, we used to get together all the time, have a little barbecue, maybe take in the drive-in movie.
That's her husband?
Yeah, Jordan Allen.
She's divorced then?
Yeah. I got the interlocutory about 6 months ago. Not final yet.
Where's Mr. Allen now?
Well, the last I heard, he was working down San Diego.
Do you know where we might get in touch with him?
No, not right off. Must be some letters over to Josephine's, though. He was always writing her.
Was there any trouble between them?
They got a divorce.
Well, that's not what I mean. I mean after. Did they have any arguments, any disagreements?
Oh, off and on. Jordan wanted to get back together again, always asking her to call off the decree.
Mm-hmm. Did he see her often?
I don't think they got together in the last couple of months. I know Josephine got some phone calls from him, though.
From San Diego?
Yeah.
Did Mrs. Allen say anything to you about taking vacation, anything like that?
No, if she'd had anything like that in mind, she'd have told me. We were pretty close.
Did she have any men friends that you know of?
Oh, she's a handsome woman, Mr. Friday. She had a lot of them.
Well, did she see any one person more than the others, would you know?
David Lansing. They used to go out quite a bit. I think David wanted to marry her as soon as the divorce was final.
Has he been around lately, would you know?
Not since Josephine disappeared.
How about before that?
I had a date with her the very night before. Went out to dinner and then went dancing.
Any trouble between them, would you know?
I don't want to get mixed up in anything, Mr. Friday. You can understand that, can't you?
Yes, ma'am, we can, but if you know anything about Mrs. Allen's disappearance, we'll have to ask that you tell us.
It's just that I don't want David to find out about it.
Well, he won't hear it from us.
That's a promise?
Yes, ma'am.
How about you?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, then, if you ask me, I'd say that David had something to do with Josephine's being gone.
Why do you say that?
Because they were always fighting. I could hear them all the way over here.
What'd they argue about, do you know?
Well, David wanted to marry her. And she wouldn't tell him whether she would or not until after the divorce was final. The way she put it, until she got the papers, she was still a married woman.
Lansing didn't like that, huh?
No, not a bit. About 10 days ago, I was over there. My TV was on the blank, and I went over to see one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
David was there, and it wasn't no time before they was at it, yelling and screaming. Kind of made me embarrassed. That's when he said it.
What was that?
Said for Josephine to get rid of Jordan, or David would get rid of her.
We continued to question the Harrison woman about Mrs. Allen. She could give us no reason for her disappearance. Frank and I left and went next door. We checked through the house. It was exactly the way the two uniformed officers had found it that morning. The shades on all of the windows were drawn. None of the furniture seemed to be disturbed. There was no sign of a struggle. On the dining room table, there was a setting for two people. Silverware, napkins, glasses. They're all ready to be used. On the plates themselves was a complete meal. None of the food had been touched. We looked for Mrs. Allen's luggage. There was no way of being sure, but apparently none of her things had been taken. We went on through the house and out into the backyard. There was no sign of anything wrong out there either.
Sure doesn't figure, does it?
Well,
Table all set, food, none of it touched.
well, there's an answer someplace.
Yeah?
Let's check the garage.
All right.
I get it.
Well, no sign here.
No. You want to check the stuff at the back?
Yeah.
Trunk here. Look at this. Looks like stains of some kind.
Better take a look, huh? The way it's wrapped up, they're going to mail it.
Yeah. Labels and everything here.
Rope.
Yeah.
You got anything to cut this with?
There might be something here. Wait a minute. Here, we can try this.
Oh, thanks.
Keep those knots.
Yeah. Here. Give me a hand with the lock, will you?
Yeah. Yeah, it's coming out. There we are. All right. We know where she is.
Yeah.
Let's find out who put her there. The crew from the crime lab was called, and they came out to go over the house and the garage. Frank and I called the office and told them what we'd found. We checked the labels on the trunk. They were addressed to a David Lansing on Rowena Avenue out in Glendale. We went back to the woman who put in the original call. From her, we got a complete description of Lansing, and we called it into the office. We found that he had an arrest record listing several drunk charges and 2 major 415s, fights. While the men from the crime lab continued their investigation on the scene, Frank and I drove over to see Lansing. He wasn't home. We talked to his landlady, but she told us that she hadn't seen him in several days. She was unable to tell us where he was employed. We checked his room, and we questioned her about his car. She gave us the name and business address of his roommate. We drove over to see him. He worked in a large television store on Pico Boulevard.
Yes, sir. Something I can do for you?
I'd like to see Mark Gilson.
That's me.
Police officers, Mr. Gilson. This is my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
How are you? What can I do for you?
We'd like to ask you a couple questions about David Lansing.
Dave in trouble again?
Do you know where he is?
No, I haven't seen him for a couple of days.
You have no idea where we can find him?
Well, if I had, you'd sure get it. Say, can you tell me what this is all about?
It'd be better if we talked to Lansing about it.
Yeah, if he's in the beef again, I'd just as soon stay out of it. Won't make me unhappy.
When'd you see him last?
The day?
That's it.
Let me see. I guess it was Friday night.
He say anything to you that might give us a lead as to where we can find him?
No, I was home when he came in. He was pretty bugged about something.
Do you know what it was?
Only a couple of things ever got Dave upset, his boss or his girl.
Do you know his girl?
No, never met her. Dave was all the time talking about how we were going to get together some night, have dinner, take in a few places where he never quite got around to it, though.
Uh-huh. You ever say anything about it?
No, not much. He was pretty crazy about her, wanted to marry her just as soon as her divorce was final.
What was he mad about when you saw him last, you know?
Well, I guess it was Josephine. That's his girl.
Yeah, we know.
And he was sore about her. She's got this husband down south someplace. I don't know, either San Pedro or San Diego, somewhere down there.
Yeah?
He was trying to get Josephine to come back to him, call off the divorce. He's always calling about it, trying to see her. Made Dave sore. The way he put it, he and Joe had gotten into a beef about it that day.
Mm-hmm. That was Friday?
Yeah. He had a couple of drinks before he got home, and while he was there and we were talking, he had a couple more. Got pretty mean.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Dave doesn't drink too good. All he needs is a couple. He thinks he can lick the world. He gets pretty mean. I don't like to have him around when he's loaded.
You give any idea where he was going?
No, I left him at the apartment.
What time was that?
Oh, I don't know. About 6:30, around in there. I had a date with a girl. She lives out in the Santa Monica Canyon. Takes about an hour to drive out there. I left about 6:30 because I met this girl at 7:30.
Lansing was still in the apartment, huh?
Yeah. He's just sitting there pouring the booze away. I told him take it easy, slow down. He said for me not to worry. Said he had to decide on something. I figured it was about Josephine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Dave really loved that girl. All this stuff with her ex-husband was just eating at him. I guess he was just trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing about Dave. Takes him a while to make up his mind about what to do, but once he decides, there's nothing that can stop him.
That's so.
Oh, yeah. Takes him a while, but he's always right.
No, not always.
What do you mean?
Looks like he missed this time. Frank and I went back to the office. We got out a local broadcast and an APB on David Lansing, along with the information on his automobile. We made arrangements for a stakeout to be placed on his home. A call was put through to the firm who employed him, but they told us that he hadn't shown up for work that week. Frank and I went back to the crime lab, and we met with Lieutenant Lee Jones. He went over the physical evidence found at the murder scene. The trunk itself had been checked over, as well as the ropes it was tied with and the mailing label. There was nothing about the trunk to tell where it might have come from. The rope was of a common variety that could be purchased anywhere. The knots, however, were of a type generally used by seamen to secure heavy articles. We made arrangements to obtain samples of Lansing's handwriting for comparison with the writing on the label. The evidence was marked and booked. The next morning, Frank and I met with Captain Lorman, and we went over what we had. It was decided that in David Lansing, we had a prime suspect. After we left the city hall, we started to check out the people listed in Lansing's package as friends or acquaintances. The first one we talked to was a Miss Dodie Fredericks.
Honey, he's a bum.
Well, how long have you known him?
About 10 years we went together. We even thought about getting married. It was all a big deal. Right now, I don't much care if I never see him again.
When'd you see him last?
Let's see. I guess it was Saturday. Yeah, Saturday night.
It was last week?
That's right. He came in the place. We talked.
What place?
Bar over on 6th. I worked there as a sort of hostess.
What'd Lansing say when you saw him?
Not much. I did most of the talking, just like usual. Mm-hmm. Just came in, sat in a booth. Always sits in a booth. Ordered a drink, and we talked. It was kind of slow, so we just sat and talked.
What'd you talk about?
The old days. I'm not going to give you a line. I was in love with Dave, always was, right from the first time I saw him. I wanted to marry him. Everything was going good until he met this Allen broad.
All right.
All of a sudden, he figures I ain't good enough for him or something like that. Anyway, he drops me right in the middle of the street, takes off.
You say anything about Mrs. Allen Saturday night?
Honey, he don't talk much else. All the time it's what she said or what she did. All the time that way.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think she was the Taj Mahal or something the way he talked about her.
Yeah, but what'd he say Saturday night?
Just about old Josephine. I tell you, I'm so sick of that name I could scream.
I see.
Big deal with them, too. He's always around her, but when he's got a problem, who do you think he comes running to?
We wouldn't know.
I'll tell you, me. She gives him the bad time, and he comes to me to get over it. Always been like that. Meets some girl, and right away it's the real thing. Always ends up the same way. He comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Thinks he's a real big man all the time with the chicks. One of these days, I'm going to tell him that. Tell him to leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
Going to tell him as soon as he comes back.
What do you
Hmm?
mean? About when he comes back. Do you know where he is?
No, but when he was in here Saturday, he was broke. Borrowed $30 from me.
Yeah.
Said he had to leave town.
We continued to talk to Dodie Fredericks. We got as much information as we could from her. She told us that Lansing had said he was going to San Francisco. We asked her if he had any friends in the Bay City. She supplied us a list of names. We went back to the office and got in touch with the authorities in San Francisco and asked them to check on the suspect for us. We put in a call to the coroner's office. The body had been posted and the time of death was set at some time Friday night. We checked out the rest of Lansing's friends and associates without result. We re-questioned the suspect's roommate, and we went over his apartment again, but we failed to turn up any evidence that might aid us in taking him into custody. 2 days passed. Saturday, June 14th. Frank and I checked in for work.
How's it going, Joe?
All right.
Say, you got a date tonight?
What was that?
I say you got a date tonight.
What do you mean?
Well, I just wondered if maybe you'd like to drop over for dinner. You know, kind of sit around, talk.
Well, I didn't have anything planned.
Good. When it's all set, I'll give Fay a call.
Okay. I get it. Homicide, Friday. Yeah. When'd you get him? Be right over. Right. Come on. We got to get over to the main jail.
What's the matter?
They found Lansing. We went over to the main jail and picked up David Lansing. He'd been arrested that morning and booked for drunk, violation of Section 4127A of the Los Angeles Municipal Code. As soon as the officers at the jail had made sure of his identity, they called us. He was taken back to the city hall to handwriting. An exemplar of his handwriting was taken for comparison with the printing on the label found on the trunk. Frank and I took the suspect back to the interrogation room for questioning. He was fairly sober, but he complained of a bad headache. Frank went down the hall and brought back some coffee. We told Lansing of Josephine Allen's death. It didn't seem to make any difference to him.
It's hot.
Get it down. It'll help you.
Isn't anything that'll do me any good. I just got to wait it out.
All right, Lansing, you want to tell us why you did it?
Hmm?
You want to tell us why you killed Josephine Allen?
I'd like to help you out. There's only one problem. I didn't do it.
Well, the evidence doesn't point that way.
Well, you better take another look.
Were you in the service, Lansing?
No, I got deferred. Bad ear.
You ever do any work in the Merchant Marine?
No. I get sick on the boats at MacArthur Park.
Never did any sea duty, huh?
No. I'm the kind of fellow that can only take a shower.
Yeah.
Note for you, Friday.
Thanks. Frank?
Yeah.
Want to step out here?
What do you got?
Note here from Don Meyer.
Yeah.
They checked the exemplars of Lansing against the label on the trunk.
Yeah.
No match at all. Kind of looks like we might have the wrong man.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
The information from Handwriting Division on the results of the comparison made it possible that we had the wrong suspect in custody. The main two pieces of physical evidence we had were the knots used in tying the rope around the trunk and the label. On both counts, apparently David Lansing was out. We set out for more coffee for the suspect, and we continued to question him.
Look, I'll spell it out for you. I didn't have anything to do with killing her.
You saw her Friday, didn't you?
Yeah, but that don't mean I killed her.
Well, tell us what happened when you saw her.
From where?
From when she opened the door.
I went over to see her about 7:30.
Friday night?
Yeah, I went over to try to talk some sense into her.
Were you two having trouble?
Yeah.
About what?
The same thing all the time. I loved her. I loved her a lot. I wanted to marry the girl. All the time, his ex-husband's hanging around, trying to get her to come back. I had a belly full. I wanted to get things straightened out, so I went to see her.
Yeah.
I didn't call and tell her. She was pretty hacked about it. Said I should have called. She got real sore.
Mm-hmm.
I asked her what was wrong. She never acted like that before. I wanted to know what the beef was.
All right.
So she filled me in on how Jordan was coming up from San Diego. They had some things to talk about. Big deal. All the time they were talking. Him trying to get her to come back. Got to the point where I didn't know where I stood.
Mm-hmm.
She told me to come in, but she said I couldn't stay long because she was expecting Jordan. Said he was coming up for dinner.
Hmm.
I told her I wanted to marry her. I told her to make up her mind once and for all not to keep me on the string anymore.
What'd she say?
Told me to call her Saturday morning. Said she'd have something to tell me then. Go ahead. The way she put it, things were going to work out. After we talked for a little bit, I left. She told me she didn't want me there when the ex got to the place.
What time did you leave?
I don't know.
Well, you must have some kind of an idea.
Well, maybe 7:30 or 8, around in there. I'm not sure. I was pretty sore when I walked out. I didn't pay a lot of attention.
Where'd you go then?
I went home for a while. I sat around, and I went over to see a guy I know runs a little club on Alvarado. We sat there until the place closed, and after that I went home with him.
Why didn't you go on to your place?
No reason. He lived pretty close. We spent the night there.
Why'd you stop going to work?
What?
We checked with the place where you work. They say you haven't been to work this week.
I guess that's because I couldn't get in touch with Josephine.
How do you mean that?
I tried to call her Saturday morning. I didn't get any answer, so I figured that Jordan had talked her into coming back. I just went out on a run.
Did you try to see her?
Hmm?
Well, did you go over to the house and try to see her?
Yeah, I went over Saturday night. There wasn't any answer. Shades were all pulled down. I figured sure she'd left town.
What'd you do?
Went down to a bar on 6th. Saw a girl I know. We talked, and I guess I got pretty loaded. The next couple of days are kind of foggy.
You ever met Jordan Allen?
Yeah, once. Put it down that we didn't get along too good.
You know anything about him?
What do you mean?
Well, what kind of business is he in?
I think it's some kind of photography thing. He sells cameras or something like that.
You know anything about his background?
Not much. I only met the guy once. We didn't get along too good then. Near as I can remember from what Josephine told me, he worked on a boat.
Yeah.
Merchant marine for about 6 years.
You sure about that?
It's what I heard. Take it from there.
All right, we'll do that.
It's going to make a difference?
But it might to you.
How do you figure?
You're lucky you get seasick. The suspect was returned to the main jail where he was held to answer on the drunk charge. We got in touch with Sergeant Tony McGuire down in San Diego and asked him to check on the victim's husband. Frank and I met with Chief of Detectives Thad Brown and Captain Warman. We laid out the information we'd been able to come up with. They agreed that we should drive to the Southland City and talk to Jordan Allen. We checked out a trip car and we drove down to talk to him. We found him at his home, a small clapboard house on B Street. From the way he looked, he'd been in bed when we rang the bell.
Come on in. What do you want to see me about?
I'd like to ask you a few questions.
About what?
When's the last time you saw your wife?
Why?
We'd like to have an answer.
Well, I don't know. Maybe a couple weeks ago.
Bring it down to a day, will you?
Why?
Pretty important to you.
Why to me?
You lay it out any way you want, mister. We asked it simple. You can give us the same kind of an answer now.
Look, you come in here. You're not from Dago. You got no right asking me anything.
Local authorities know we're here. Now, if you want us to ask them to ask the questions, it can be fixed up.
How about it, Alan?
Go ahead.
When did you see your wife last?
Must have been a couple weeks ago. I can't come up with a date for you.
What do you do for a living?
Sell photographic materials.
What kind of a job did you have before that?
First mate on a ship.
How long did you hold down that job?
6.5 years.
How'd you and your wife get along?
We were divorced.
We understand you saw her quite a bit, though.
Once in a while, yeah, not too often.
The way we got it, you were trying to get her to call off the divorce.
You've been listening to a lot of people with big mouths.
They seem to talk pretty straight, mister.
Well, you go and ask them the questions.
All right, Alan, get your clothes on.
What for?
If you don't want to talk here, we can make it downtown.
Well, what do you want to know?
You account for your time last week?
What day?
I'll start with Monday.
Worked.
What'd you do at night?
Took in a movie.
Can you prove that?
Yeah, I took a girl I know. Works in one of the photo shops here in town. Check with her.
What about Tuesday?
Worked during the day. Stayed home Tuesday night.
You got any way to back that up?
No, I was alone.
All right, go ahead.
Wednesday, I had to go out of town. Took a run over to Riverside. Didn't get back till about 1:30.
In the morning?
Yeah.
You prove that?
Look, I can give you the names of the people I was with. You can call them if you have to.
All right.
If there's some way to get away from it, I'd sure appreciate it. I don't like to have them brought into it.
All right.
It's a business thing. The old man buys a lot of stuff from me. I don't want to ruin the contact.
What about Friday night?
Friday night, I was home all night. Didn't feel too good, so I was here all night.
Anybody to vouch for you?
No, I called a couple of people, but there wasn't anybody here.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday night, I went out with the same girl I dated Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Look, you want to tell me what this is all about?
We think you know.
Now, how would I know? You guys come in here cause a lot of trouble. How am I supposed to know what it's all about?
All right, Alan, we'll lay it out for you. Your wife's dead.
Josephine?
That's right.
When did it happen?
Last week.
You think I had something to do with it?
Everything we've got points that way.
Well, how do you figure that? Why'd I want to kill her? What reason would I have?
We want you to tell us.
Well, I haven't any. Now, come on, fellas. Tell me the truth. This is a joke, huh? How much did Jeff give you to pull a gag?
No joke.
Look, I don't know what he gave you, but I'll double it. You just tell me the bit, and I'll double your money. I like to get back at Jeff.
It's no joke, Alan. All the evidence we've got points out that you killed your wife. Now, we just want to know why.
You mean you really got a case you can take to court?
We're going to try. Now, how about it? You want to tell us? Alan?
I got scared. That's the only way you'd have known I got scared.
Go ahead.
I saw her Friday night. She said she'd have dinner with me, said we'd have some stuff to talk about. I went up to have dinner with her.
Yeah.
She told me she made up her mind, said she didn't want to get back together.
Mm-hmm.
This past 6 months, I figured it'd work out. All the time I kept calling her, asking her to take me back. All the time.
Mm-hmm.
I would have done anything in the world she asked me to do. She had just taken me back. None of it worked. We sat there, had a couple of drinks, and then she went out in the kitchen and got dinner ready. All the time, I figured sure she was going to say we were going back together.
Go ahead.
I went out in the kitchen with her, and we talked while she put the stuff on the plates. And then she told me she was going to marry this David Lansing. I tried to talk her out of it. I told her it wouldn't work. She just wouldn't listen.
Yeah?
Tried to tell her how she was making a mistake, but she wouldn't listen. She kept telling me to sit down and eat my dinner. Just kept telling me that.
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't take any more of it. I couldn't see her going to anybody else. You can see that yourself. There wasn't anything else I could do. You can see that, can't you?
Why'd you put Lansing's name on that trunk?
Well, that's where I thought I was smart. I figured I'd have it sent to his place and then pick it up and get rid of it. If I couldn't do that, then he'd get the blame for it. Either way, it would have worked out for me.
All right, you want to get dressed?
Are you going to take me back to L.A.?
That's right.
I don't much care anymore. As long as she's gone, there isn't much. The big thing is that you know that I really loved her.
Yeah, sure.
No, you got to believe that I did love her. It's important that you believe me. I loved her.
It's just one thing.
Yeah.
You had a funny way of showing it, didn't you?
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On November 18th, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Jordan Keith Allen was tried and convicted of murder in the second degree, one count, and received sentence as prescribed by law. Murder in the second degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of from 5 years to life. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to burglary detail. A jewelry store has been robbed. Merchandise amounting to $5,000 has been stolen. The thief made good his escape. Your job? Find him.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Sunday, September 8th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We were on our way out to the scene, and it was 10:18 a.m. when we got to 6247 28th Street, the jewelry store.
I'll be right there.
Yes, sir?
It's not a very big place.
Probably more room behind that partition there.
Yeah.
I'm coming.
You the police?
Yes, sir, that's right. This is my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
I'm glad to meet you.
How you doing, sir?
My name's Hemp, Ray Hemp. This is my store.
Yes, sir.
Sorry I kept you waiting. I was back in the kitchen making some tea. I was a little nervous, you know. Thought it might help.
Mm-hmm.
You gentlemen care for some?
No, sir.
No, thanks, sir.
When did you discover the theft?
Well, I got back to the store about 40 minutes ago. Saw what had happened, and I called the police right away.
Is everything like you found it?
Yes, sir.
These cases open?
That's right. I haven't touched anything in here. Didn't want a chance messing anything up.
Yes, sir.
Didn't leave very much, huh?
A couple of watch bands is about all. Really cleaned out the place.
Now, about the watches, what kind were they?
Mostly wrist models, a couple of pocket size.
Uh-huh.
All different brands, but I just got a bunch of long jeans in. Took every one of them.
Yes, sir.
Cleaned me out.
Can you tell us how they got into the store?
Yes. I'll show you how they chopped a hole right through the wall.
All right, sir.
Right through the wall. In the back. Came right through. You can see there. Goes right into the storeroom of the barber shop next door.
Uh-huh.
Oh, sure made a mess of the place. Plaster all over the floor.
Yes, sir.
Pretty much ruined the wall, too.
Yeah.
Wanted to make sure they'd have enough room. See, the hole must be about 3 feet across, Joe.
You can see there, right into the storeroom.
Yes, sir.
I'd better check over there, huh?
Oh, I forgot to tell you. The back door to the barber shop is open. Before you officers arrived, I checked out in the alley and I saw it wide open. I guess that's how they got in.
Who owns the barber shop, Mr. Hemp?
Ed Justin had the place over 15 years.
You know where he lives?
Yes, he isn't home, though. As soon as I saw that hole, I tried to call him.
You can give us his address and phone number, can you?
Yes.
We'll want to talk to him.
I've got one of his cards up front.
All right, sir. We'll check next door.
Look at that hole. Must be a good 3 feet across, wouldn't you say?
Yes, sir.
Here, let me get that door for you. Look at that.
What's that?
Size of that door. Heavy, double lock. Burglar alarm system out in front. On the skylight up there. Doesn't stop him.
Yes, sir. Well, we'll check next door.
That seems like kind of a nice little guy, huh?
Yeah.
Wonder why the thief didn't close the door when he finished.
Probably nothing left to steal.
Yeah.
Take a look at the door here. It doesn't look like it was forced.
Well, Justin might have left it unlocked. Boy, they sure made a mess in here, too.
Yeah. Looks like they had a head start.
Huh. The place must use a lot of hair oil.
Yeah, only that's liquid soap there.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't look like there's any tools around.
Well,
How you doing?
take a look.
Want to find something?
Come here.
What?
In the dust here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
The impressions?
Looks like a stocking foot, huh?
Yeah.
Well, the guy must have worked with his shoes off.
That's the way I'd call it. You notice right here?
Where?
In the middle of the print? The stains?
Yeah, looks like it could be blood.
Possibly might have cut his foot. What do you think?
Uh-huh.
Well, let's call the crime lab. Have them send a crew out to go over both places. Huh?
Yeah. Joe,
Now?
take a look at the skylight up there.
Mm-hmm.
It's broken. You better check the roof, huh?
All right.
Sure looks like hair, Tony.
Yeah, it's green.
Yeah. There's the drain pipe there. Might have used that to get up.
Mm-hmm. We'll have the crew check it. Let's go back in.
Yeah. Mr. Hemp?
Yes? Find out anything?
Well, we're not sure yet, sir. I wonder if you could tell us, is there some way to get to the roof of the building here?
Oh, yes. Come on, I'll show you. There. You see? Up in the corner. Trap door.
Mm-hmm.
Hinged. Swings right up. Been a while since I've used it.
You have something we can use to get up there?
Mm-hmm. I've got a ladder. I'll get it.
All right, sir. You want me to give you a hand with that?
Oh, I can get it.
All right. Here, you better let me help you with that.
I'll swing my end over, and you can walk it right up under the trap door.
All right, be careful now. All right.
How's that?
That's fine. That'll get it. Want to steady the ladder, Frank?
Yeah. Can you get it?
No, this bolt's stuck. Just a minute.
It's probably rusty. I told you I didn't use it very often.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's got it.
Good.
Okay, now, hang on, will you, while I boost myself up?
I got it.
Okay. All right. You want to come up, Frank?
Yeah.
All right, let me give you a hand.
Yeah. Wait till I get my foot on the ledge.
All right, come on. Oh, okay. You got to lose some weight. Let's take a look at that skylight, huh?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we didn't hit this tar roof at noon.
Well, it's still plenty warm.
Yeah. You can see all of Hemp's place through this one.
Mm-hmm. Good spot to case it from, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's check that broken skylight.
Yeah. Take a look.
Yeah, more smears.
Well, there's not much doubt about these.
Looks like blood, all right, doesn't it?
Yeah. Maybe they did case the stores from here.
Uh-huh. Could have cut his foot on a piece of glass, couldn't he?
That figures. Still not much to go on.
No.
It'd take a pretty big cut to make these smears.
Well, that'd be something in our favor.
How do you mean?
It won't heal overnight. The crime lab crew arrived and started their investigation. Photographs were taken of the interiors of both stores, and samples of the plaster and lath materials were held as evidence. Latent fingerprints went over both the jewelry store and the barber shop. Frank and I checked with the people in the neighborhood, but none of them could recall seeing any automobiles or strangers loitering in the vicinity. At 7:20 p.m., the barber, Ed Justin, returned. We questioned him. He said he didn't recall locking the back door to the shop, and he said it was more than possible that he did leave it open. We got a complete list of the stolen merchandise from Ray Hemp, along with the case and movement numbers of the watches. These were distributed to pawn shops throughout the city. Frank and I went back to the city hall and had the stats office start a run on the M.O. used in the burglary. 9:47 p.m., Lieutenant Lee Jones from the crime lab called to say that they'd finished their examination of the physical evidence. He told us that the stains we'd found were blood and that he'd have the grouping test finished for us in the morning. He went on to say that the suspect should have particles of plaster dust and other debris in his clothing. Also, if we were able to find the socks that the thief had worn, the pattern of the material would identify them. At 10:15 p.m., Frank and I finished the log and we checked out of the office. The next morning, we started to run down the list that the stats office had furnished us. It took 2 full days to question all of the men named. At the end of that time, we had what we'd started with, nothing. We talked to informants. None of them could tell us anything. Wednesday, 11:40 a.m., Frank and I checked into the office. Guess I better check the book, huh?
Yeah. What do you got?
A call from Lucarelli over at Narcotics.
Yeah?
Says they picked up a guy this morning. Luke talked to him and figured maybe we'd want to see him.
You say why?
No, he didn't spell it out. He saw our teletype on the jewelry store thing.
Yeah.
It's about some watches. We put in a call to Sergeant Roxy Lucarelli at Narcotics Division. 5 minutes later, the suspect was brought to our office. He was identified as Frederick Gabriel Garth. He had a record listing several arrests for burglary and narcotics. He'd served 1 term at the county jail on the narcotics charge. He was brought into the interrogation room where Frank and I questioned him.
What are you giving me trouble for? I'm clean. They found nothing on me.
Is that so?
Sure, the marks are old. Been a long time since I had a fix.
Uh-huh.
Well, what do you want from me?
Information?
On what?
You've been around a while, haven't you, Garth?
Sure, I'm a native son.
And you must have a lot of friends.
A couple.
Any of them selling wristwatches?
What do you mean?
Well, you don't need a drawing for this now. Any of your friends selling watches cheap?
No.
You sure about that?
What are you trying to build?
The only way it came to us, you can steer us to a cheap watch.
Well, you got it all wrong. I don't even own a watch. If I could buy one cheap, I'd have one.
Is that right?
Well, sure, I always wanted a good one.
Mm-hmm.
You know anybody who can lead us to a good buy?
Well, what's in it for me?
What do you got now?
Nothing.
Well, you're going to leave the same way.
Well, no reason for me to give you a hand, then, is there?
Then put it down that we're going to have you in here again. The way you act now will go on the books.
How about it, Garth?
Who's going to know?
You, Smith, and me.
For real?
Won't do us any good to spread it around town, will it?
Okay, I met a guy last night. Showed me a watch he bought for $5.
What'd it look like?
Gold. Pretty good watch.
This fella a friend of yours?
I know him, that's all.
You got a name?
Yeah, Victor Gordon.
Where'd you see him?
Hot dog stand.
Where's that?
Out on Western.
Western's a long street.
Corner of St. Andrews.
What's this Gordon do for a living?
I don't know. I just see him around the hot dog stand once in a while.
You live around there?
Yeah, I got a room near 39th and Western. I don't know the number. It's a big green place. Got those kind of plastic shingles on the roof. Red ones.
Mm-hmm. You show it to us?
Yeah, a friend of mine has a car. We drove him home a couple of times.
Did you get a good look at the watch last night?
Yeah.
What kind was it?
Longy.
You're pretty sure about that, aren't you?
Sure, I looked at it pretty good. He took it off his wrist, asked me if I thought it was worth $5.
Uh-huh.
Well, I told him it was. At least I'd pay that for it. It was a real beauty.
All right. Can you give us a description of this Gordon fella?
Yeah.
We want you to show us where he lives.
Well, I've ridden this far. No reason to get off now.
You got any more on him?
You're going to find out anyway.
Yeah?
This Gordon,
Uh-huh.
he's an ex-convict.
We checked the name and description of Victor Gordon through R&I. We found that he'd served one term for armed robbery in an eastern penitentiary and was not on parole at the time. A check of the ex-convict registration gave us his present address. We also found that he was employed at the Belden Aircraft Corporation in San Fernando. We took Fred Garth out to the address on Western Avenue to verify it for us. He pointed out the house and asked that we drop him off near a streetcar line. After that, Frank and I returned to the rooming house, and we went up to the third floor. We knocked on the door to Gordon's room, and he asked us in.
I know what you're climbing on me for. Why all the questions?
You ask him to get answers, don't you? We'd like a few.
Look, you tell me what all this is about, and maybe it'll shake up my memory.
All right, the way we heard it, you were wearing a new watch last night.
Well, you got it wrong.
Is that so?
Yeah, I haven't got a watch.
We got it different.
Look here. You see one? If I had a watch, I'd be wearing it, wouldn't I?
You had one last night, mister.
Well, you're crazy. I haven't got a watch.
We heard different.
Somebody lied to you. I showed you I'm not wearing one.
You don't mind if we look around the place?
Go ahead. You won't find anything.
All right.
I'll check the closet, Joe.
Okay.
And you're wasting your time. You're not going to find anything.
Well, then you haven't got anything to worry about, have you?
Go ahead and mess up my room. Tear it apart. You're not going to find anything.
Why don't you just simmer down there?
I just don't want to have to put all that stuff back.
Joe,
Yeah. What do you got?
take a look. Found one of the shoes there.
38 Colt.
Yeah.
How about it? You satisfied now?
This gun yours, Gordon?
Never saw it before.
Found it in your closet.
It isn't mine.
Won't hold. You want to tell us about it?
All right, so you found a gun. Is something wrong?
You got a short memory, haven't you?
Maybe I got it wrong. I thought you guys were looking for a watch.
There's a law that says an ex-con can't have a gun. You ought to know that. How about it, Gordon? All right, get your coat.
Want to take me downtown?
You called it.
What charge?
We'll let you know when we write it up.
It's a bad beef.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, it is. I don't know what you're after, but I had no piece of it.
You want to get the watch?
It's in the medicine cabinet in the bathroom.
All right, you sit still. I'll get it.
I bought it. I paid $5.
We'll get to that. How about it, Joe?
Yeah. You got a pen there?
Yeah, give it here all over.
All right. You want to give me the number? I'll check it against the list.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Kind of hard to see. 1, 6, 7, 5, 8. I think the next one's a 9.
Let me see then. Yeah, that's a 9.
Is it on the list?
Wait a minute.
Look, I didn't steal it. I was wrong about the gun, but I didn't steal the watch.
Look, just sit still. How about it?
No, it's not here. Wait a minute. Try the other side. Mm-hmm. Gordon, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I know. The gun.
No, that's only half of it, this watch.
Yeah?
It's listed as stolen.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
The suspect was taken downtown and questioned. He continued to deny any part in the thefts. We put in a call to the place where he worked, and we verified that he'd been there on the night of the burglary. After a half hour of questioning, Victor Gordon told us about the man he'd bought the watch from. He said he didn't know his full name, that he knew him only as Kermit. He went on to say that his girlfriend had been with him when he bought the watch and could verify the story. We contacted the girl, Celia Kirk, and we talked to her. She told us the same story we'd gotten from Gordon. She volunteered the information that Kermit lived in the 3800 block on Gramercy Place. She also told us that his girlfriend lived in the 2900 block on 9th Avenue. We got a complete description of the man, and we checked it through R&I. We came up with a package for a Kermit J. Wayne. When the mugshot was shown to Gordon and Celia Kirk, we got a positive identification. Wayne's arrest record went back to the time he was 15. He was listed as an expert safe burglar and had used a tunneling M.O. on several occasions. Gordon was booked in at the main jail on a charge of violation of the Dangerous Weapons Control Law of 1923, Section 2. 5:40 p.m. Frank and I left the office and drove out to the address on Gramercy Place. Wayne lived on the second floor rear. He wasn't there. In the company of the landlord, we went through his room.
Pretty dirty.
You want to check the dresser? I'll get the trunk.
Yeah. Hey, Joe, look. I guess everybody's got this calendar, huh?
Yeah, it's real popular.
Good. Hey, look at this.
Did you turn something?
Yeah? Drawer full of dirty T-shirts.
You gotta put them someplace.
Look. I have gloves for this job. How you doing with the trunk?
There's nothing much in it. More of those calendars. Wayne must be a fine arts patron.
Dirty shirts in this one.
I don't know. Maybe the guy hasn't heard of laundries. What do you think? Well, the trunk checks out.
Well, I ain't like that. I should have known.
Hmm?
Dirty socks, whole drawer full of them.
Well, he's neat anyhow.
Huh?
I'll check the closet. A lot of hangers, not many clothes.
Maybe the guy's broke, but that's no reason to be so dirty. How about that bundle there?
I haven't looked at it yet. Wait a minute.
It might be his clean shirts.
No, pair of pants.
Figures. They're dirty, too.
Wait a minute. Something in the pocket here. Pair of socks.
That makes you wrong.
What?
If he was so neat, they'd be with the others.
Well, maybe he had a reason for keeping them here.
Why?
Take a look.
He had a reason.
Blood on this one. We checked out the rest of Wayne's room, but we turned up nothing to further tie him in with a burglary. We got a description of his car from the landlord, and before we left, we made arrangements for a stakeout to be set up on his room. We took the pair of pants and the blood-stained socks down to the crime lab for examination. 8:20 p.m. Frank and I drove over to 9th Street to try to find Kermit Wayne's girlfriend. We checked the 2900 block, and we found a car that matched the description of the one owned by the suspect. We checked the white slip and found the car was registered to Wayne. Frank pulled 2 of the leads to the spark plugs, and we went back to our car to wait for Wayne to show up. The night dragged on. 4:29 a.m.
It's been almost 8 hours, huh?
Yeah. Something had happened, don't you?
Put in with you. Joe?
Hmm?
You ever notice around the city all the clocks that are stopped?
No, I can't say that I have.
You know, on business places, storefronts, walls, all over.
Well, what brought that on?
Oh, I was just thinking a little while ago. You know, some smart fella did a lot of work fixing them. All the clocks that don't run.
Mm-hmm.
They're only right 2 times a day.
What?
Clocks that are broke. Twice a day they're right. How'd you like to be right only twice a day?
Some fellas would be all right.
Like who?
Guys that bet on the horses.
Oh, yeah, probably would. Never thought of that. Wouldn't be so good if you worked in a chicken hatchery, though.
Where?
Chicken hatchery.
What do you mean?
Well, those guys up there, they look at baby chicks. They're a day or so old, and they tell what they're going to be. You know, men or women.
What?
Well, they're going to be roosters or hens.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good money in it.
Well, that's a new one on me.
Yeah, but you got to be right. None of this twice-a-day stuff. You know, say a guy bought 100 little baby chicks expecting to get, 98 hens and 2 roosters.
Mm-hmm.
And he finds out he got just the opposite, 98 roosters and 2 hens. How do you think he'd feel?
Disappointed?
You bet he would. That guy'd be looking for a new job, too.
Yeah, well, maybe he could fix those clocks, huh?
Well, sure be a lot of money in it for
Hold it.
somebody, huh?
Across the street.
Yeah, I see him.
Talking to somebody inside there.
I can't see him too good. Not the right height, though.
Yeah. It's coming this way now. Notice the walk? Checks out all the way.
Yeah. It's him.
All right, wait till he gets in the car. Well, let's go.
Right.
Hey, fella. You Kermit Wayne?
Hey, what is this?
Police officers. Are you Kermit Wayne?
Yeah, why?
Get out of the car. Come on. Keep those hands where we can see them.
Why you want to talk to me?
Come on, get out. Just put it down the way you walk, huh?
This don't make sense.
It does to us.
What do you mean?
You limp. The suspect was taken down to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. An examination showed that he had a bad cut on his right foot. We contacted the office, and another team of men were sent out to the apartment of Wayne's girlfriend to go over the place. Frank and I took the suspect back to the office. 8:25 a.m.
Don't guess we can expect much from Wayne's girlfriend if she's anything like him.
No, he's a clam, that's for sure. We're going to need something strong to open him up.
Friday?
Yeah, Mac. How'd you do out there?
Think maybe we got something for you.
Yeah.
Where's the guy?
The next office.
Here.
You taking a trip, Mac?
Suitcase is for you. Watches, rings. Wayne's girlfriend didn't know it, but she was in the jewelry business.
Oh, look at this. All Longines. How about serial numbers?
Haven't checked them yet. As soon as we found this, we came right over.
All right. We'll run them. You have any trouble?
No, really. She was pretty cooperative. Didn't see what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
We told her Wayne was in custody, gave her a big story. Tells easier than it was.
How'd you locate the stuff?
When we told her about Wayne, she remembered the suitcase he wanted her to keep for him.
Mm-hmm.
He told her it was some war souvenirs. Didn't like to leave them in his room.
Mm-hmm.
Real surprised when she saw the contents. Then she got mad. Said he'd always promised to buy her a good watch. Never had.
Well, she can start looking for a new Santa Claus, huh?
Yeah.
Wayne won't be shopping for some time. We checked the serial numbers on the watches, and we found that they were the ones taken in the burglary of the jewelry store. All of the other merchandise matched the description that we'd gotten from Ray Hemp. 9:18 a.m. All right, you want to tell us how you cut your foot?
I'm giving you nothing.
You did it on the skylight over the barber shop, didn't you?
You tell me. I don't know. Maybe I cut at the beach.
No, we don't think so.
I want to see a lawyer. I'll talk to him, but I got nothing for you guys.
All right, we got something here we want you to see, Wayne.
How about it, Wayne? Look familiar?
Who you kidding? Bunch of watches. I seen watches before. Who hasn't?
These are a little different. Look at the suitcase. Does that ring any bells?
Don't mean nothing to me. You guys are trying to trap me. I know how you are. Won't work this time. I learned all about you cops a long time ago.
I get it. Burglary Friday. Yeah, right. Both of them, huh? Oh, good. Okay. We'll check with you. Want to give us a story now, Wayne?
I'll talk to a lawyer.
That phone call there. They just called the third strike on you, mister.
More bluff.
All right, I'll give it to you straight. When you went into that jewelry store, you cut your foot. You left blood smears all over the place.
You gotta stay away from comic
We
books.
got pictures of the smears. Our crime lab matched them up with a pair of socks that we found in your room. The pants we found are loaded with debris that you picked up when you went through that wall. And we can prove it came from the same place. Sound like we're bluffing?
You want to tell us about it now?
Don't think you're so smart, you ain't. You just got the breaks, that's all. Just the breaks.
That's so.
Yeah, you cops ain't smart. I learned it real young. Once in a while, the breaks fall on your side.
Something else you should have learned real young. You wouldn't be worrying about the breaks now.
What's that?
The 8th commandment.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
Kermit J. Wayne was tried and convicted of burglary in the first degree. Victor Cavell Gordon was found guilty of violation of the Dangerous Weapons Control Act and received sentence as prescribed by law. Burglary in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 5 years. Violation of the Dangerous Weapons Control Act is punishable by imprisonment in the county jail for a period of not more than 1 year, or a fine of $500, or both such fine and imprisonment.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.